Hello and welcome to another edition of Trotsky or Bust. It's Thursday, October 19th. Today's the day after last night. Last night, CNN held a town hall debate between Bernie Sanders and Ted Cruz, and the subject was going to be tax cuts and why we need or do not need these huge tax cuts. It was good. It was funny. It was like Ted Cruz. I saw on some conservative sites they plotted Ted Cruz for his facts, and I'm doing this video mostly to dispel those facts. They're not facts. They're lies. Okay, it's lying Ted. I mean, I didn't watch the Republican debates that much a year and a half ago, but I can see, I don't know. I mean, Trump himself is as big a liar, but lying Ted certainly. Uh, he earned his nickname yesterday. He said of Bernie Sanders at the debate yesterday that Bernie was one of the most honest people that he knows. Well, no one will ever say the same about Ted Cruz, and he probably couldn't care less, but he just lied all night. And to get to some of the bigger lies that he told, well, one he did tell, and Bernie called him on this, that he did call Social Security a Ponzi scheme. You can just Google Ted Cruz Ponzi scheme, Social Security Ponzi scheme, and you'll find that he says it. He tries to be cute about it, but no, he calls Social Security a Ponzi scheme. And Bernie did call him out on that. In fact, I guess he put on his Twitter account that you can go to that video, and that didn't stop Ted Cruz from lying. It's like Donald Trump, where it doesn't matter what the facts say or what I said or what you have on tape. It's not a lie. Anyhow, one of the bigger lies that Ted Cruz and the Republicans in general are saying today, and over the last year or so, they have this newfound hero. And who's their newfound hero? It's President John F. Kennedy. Okay? Now, why is he their hero? Because John F. Kennedy, he didn't actually do this. He proposed this. It was accomplished during the Johnson administration. He proposed cutting the top tax rate. All right, back then it was 91%. He wanted to take it down to 65%. And ironically, it was the Republicans who opposed him back then. It was the Republicans back then were actually fiscal conservatives, not like these liars today, these clowns today. They are anything but that. They are the party of big deficits. Anyhow, the reason John Kennedy, let's be honest, he was called the first Keynesian president. He wanted government very much involved. Okay, he was not this tax-cutting crusaders like they're trying to make him out to be. And he felt, as did FDR, that during times of economic hardship, you should run deficits, short-term deficits. All right, and that's one of the reasons he wanted to lower tax. Back then it was 91%. He wanted to lower it to 65, which is almost twice as high as today's 35. So he's still, to call him a tax cutter is nonsense. So what Kennedy did propose, and Cruz last night said he gave us this tax cuts for the rich and the economy boomed. No, it didn't work that way. What Kennedy tried to pass the tax cut, that was one of his proposals. It did get passed in February of 1964 by LBJ. But what else happened in 1964? 1964 is when Lyndon Johnson passed all the Great Society programs. We had massive government spending. Okay, that's what caused the economic boom, not this small tax. Well, it was small, but it gave the very few rich some more money. All right, that didn't lead to an economic boom. Ted Cruz is either incredibly stupid or the biggest fucking liar who doesn't give a shit about this country. Okay, that's what it is. If you have to lie about your agenda, it means you know that your agenda is not good for America. And if you're forwarding an agenda not good for America, then you're an enemy of America. That's what Ted Cruz is. Okay, Kennedy believed in short-term deficits, certainly not the long-term deficits the Republicans are running. So that's the first bullshit. I want to call bullshit on Ted Cruz. The second, which Republicans love to say, is Reagan. Saint Reagan, cut taxes and the economy first. Bullshit. Okay, Reagan cut taxes mainly for the rich in 1981. Economy didn't flourish. Not in 81, not in 82, not in 83. But in 83, what happened is back then the interest rates were very high. They were in the high teens at the beginning of 1983. By the end of the year, the Federal Reserve had lowered it to it was nearly half. I think it was around 11%. I think it started about 18, 19, went down to 11%. And in 1984, the economy did rebound big time. That's when you had morning time in America. It had nothing to do with the tax cuts for the rich and everything to do with lowering interest rates. Why don't tax cuts for the rich work? Okay, if the government wants to stimulate the economy, the best way to do it is through spending, okay, like infrastructure. If you spend on roads, 100% of that money goes into the economy. Now, what if you do want to do it with tax cuts? Well, some of that money will be saved. However, Economics 101, poor people have a greater propensity to save, to spend. Rich people have a greater propensity to save. Okay, if you give a tax cut to someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, they're going to spend that money. So that money is going to go into the economy. If you give it to someone like Donald Trump, they're going to give it to their stockbroker. They're going to buy stocks. That's not going to create many jobs. Okay, it doesn't work. Taxes for the rich is not stimulative. It's not. All right. Why do the Republicans keep perpetuating this myth? Is because their donors like those tax cuts. That's the only reason. Like I said, Ted Cruz doesn't give two shits about this country. That's why he's doing it. Now, there was a problem last night. It's not a problem. Well, it's something Democrats have been afraid to say, and Bernie, to his credit, did say it last night, is you have to increase taxes on everybody, okay? Now, they had this, Bernie's one country they like to use as examples, Denmark, Scandinavian countries. It's funny because yesterday CNN tried to ambush him. They brought in this Danish economist who works for the Peterson Institute, which is a conservative think tank. And it backfired on CNN because the Danish economist was essentially agreeing with everything Bernie said. And by the way, he did dispel a myth. There's this great myth about, where you have socialized medicine like Canada or European country, you have delay times in getting treatment, surgery. And he said that is not true. That's not across the board. Certainly there are delay times, but he used the example of his own mother. She needed cancer treatment, and she got surgery within a day or two. Okay, so don't buy into this. Oh, you're gonna have these great delays if you have Medicare for all. You will in some cases, but it depends on what you're getting done. I guess if you need emergency breast implants, you have big date or something. Yeah, it might take a bit longer in Canada. All right, but for something that is a real emergency, no, you don't have those wait times. And kudos to that Danish economist who dispelled that. But the problem in the fact that in Denmark or Sweden, most countries, you pay a much higher tax rate than you do in the United States. That is true. All right. Now, Bernie did give examples. Yes, you do pay more, but you get a lot more back. You get socialized, free healthcare. You get free college. Anybody who can afford it, anyone who has the good grades but can't afford to go, still gets to go in Denmark. That's not the case in the United States. Okay? Or they can, but they take out these tremendous loans. All right? And you also get a cheaper daycare. You get a lot of services in return for that money. Now, most Americans, if they're shown, and Bernie did illustrate it yesterday, that yes, you pay more, but you get more. It is a good idea, and most Americans will think it's a good idea. The problem is most people are living paycheck to paycheck. They can't afford to pay more taxes. So even though they see it as a good idea, they just simply can't afford more money taken out of their paycheck. And this is a conundrum, and Republicans don't give a shit. I mean, that's what they did. They started with this Reaganomics, which gives all the benefits to the rich. Meanwhile, the poor gets poorer, and they can't afford to go back because they can't afford to pay higher taxes. How to solve this problem, and I'm sure there are economists there who have much better ideas than I do. My idea is that you begin with you do tax only the rich, okay? And you just have to run deficit spending. Okay, now of course Republicans are going to attack deficit spending. They don't attack it when they're giving huge taxes to the rich or, going off on these stupid wars. They only attack it when we spend money on working people. But that's the solution. That's the only way you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to explain to the American people that, yes, eventually you will have to pay higher taxes, but in the interim, because we know you can't afford it now, we're going to have to run deficits, and we should run deficits in time of economic hardships. That's the solution. Whether someone like Bernie, or I mean the Democrats, I shouldn't use the word Democrats. Democrats don't give a shit. I'm talking about Bernie or the Green Party. That's the way you have to approach it. That we'll run deficit spending, and then we'll do it that way. Socialism is a better way. Another word for socialism is teamwork. That's what it is. Conservatives will never say that, but that's exactly what socialism is. It's teamwork. We can accomplish a lot more working as a team. Even in capitalism, the father of capitalism, Adam Smith, in the book Wealth of Nation, he gave an example of a shoemaker and how much that was basically he advocated for the assembly, what we know as the assembly line. Well, assembly line is teamwork. That's socialism. It's teamwork. You can accomplish more working as a team than as individuals. I think he said that shoemakers can produce 64 times as much working as a team than if each made the shoe from scratch. Okay, getting back. That's it. That's what I want to talk about the debate last night on lying Ted. And it's hard. Conservatives always have these zingers, as I call them, but if you really examine the facts, you bring in a real economist, you can tell that it's bullshit, okay? He had all these graphs, how much better things were under Reagan than under Obama. He didn't tell you that Obama, and I'm no fan of Obama, inherited the worst recession since the Great Depression, but don't let facts get in the way of a good story, Ted. All right, thank you. Tell me what you think. Please like or dislike, send comments. Please, I'm asking you to subscribe. It's free, it doesn't cost anything. The more subscribers I have, the more these telecasts will get out, if you like them. All right, thank you and have a nice day.